This short section leads us through the processes of scoring and acid staining. The materials list includes important safety items, most notably the particle mask and safety glasses if you are scoring, and the rubber gloves, safety glasses, and a respirator with organic and vapor cartridges when you are applying the stain. For additional safety, provide adequate ventilation when acid staining. Sedona is a concentrated acid stain that is diluted 1:1 with plain water. Sedona may be diluted with more water, as was the case on this project, because the owner decided that the ratio of 2 parts to 1 part Sedona stain produced the depth of color she wanted. Remember too that surf prep was used to condition the concrete. Use a quality sprayer, one that has all plastic parts with seals and gaskets that will hold up to the corrosive effects of the acid. Spray the stain liberally onto the floor and work in with a floor broom. Then spray lightly once over to hide the broom marks. This method delivers the most color with the least effort and the lowest cost, because in most cases you are applying the stain just one time. Sedona acid stain is very cost effective because it is the strongest stain available. Creating a border around the perimeter of the room really helps set the room off. Use white or orange chalk, not red, and then follow the line with an angle grinder, circular saw, or special concrete saw. Most people make the borders about 1 foot wide, but feel free to create as narrow or as wide as you want. Minimize the amount of dust by using a saw or a grinder that has a shroud and a dust port going to the vacuum or dust collector. Shut down the HVAC system so the dust is not distributed throughout the house or the building. Wet cutting will keep the dust down, but is messy and will erase the chalk lines. Do not use lacquer spray over the chalk lines. Notice how dust-free the scoring is when using equipment with a dust collector. The cut is very shallow, usually about 1/8 of an inch deep, just deep enough to separate the border color from the field color. Mix the acid stain to the desired strength. In this case, we are using a 3:1 solution of Sedona Black for the borders. You will remember that we stained the entire floor when we first applied the acid stain. This time we're going to be careful to apply only the darker color to the border. Once you have cut in along a straight line, come back in over top with a circular motion. Circular motions will create swirls which look better with acid stain than straight, streaky lines. To minimize the number of times you have to rinse, allow the stain to dry and then sweep up the residue as thoroughly as possible. Treat the residual powder as hazardous waste. Add water to the floor, agitate with a broom, and wet vac up the contaminated water. Treat the dirty water as hazardous waste. Neutralize the floor using 1 cup of ammonia or a small box of baking soda with 5 gallons of clean rinse water. Use one of these solutions over the entire floor and again pick up the dirty water. Check for remaining residue with a white rag. If very little discoloration shows on the white rag, your floor is clean enough for the final rinse of plain water. Allow the floor to dry and you are ready to seal.